Will Smith just smacked the shit out of him.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Henderson Metal Fall Classic presented by Kioti Tractors of Ontario. Jim Nix, joined by Terry Corbin here at your local, what do I say that was, Terry? Your neighborhood credit union.
Neighborhood, yes.
Center in Ste.Marie, Ontario, for the B Division game featuring Reid Carruthers from Winnipeg and Mark Kean from Woodstock, Ontario. Terry, you're a little bit familiar with both these teams, particularly the Kean team. Can you tell us a little bit about them?
Yeah, I mean, known Mark for several years. Played with him, played against him. Good thrower. Mark is now. I guess I'll call him older because he's 36.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was playing with him when he was just coming out of junior. Just played a couple spiels with him. The whole team coached against the guys that are playing with him. I think that for the most part, this is a relatively new team for him. The front end is made up of Matthew Garner and Spencer Dunlop. Again, they're probably 3-4 years out of juniors. Brady Lumley's the third. And I think he's the baby of the team. Other than that, Reid, I think Reid is so familiar to everybody, not only as a curler, but as now coach of Kerry Henderson. He's got with him Caitlin Schneider throwing third, Derek Samagalski playing second, and I butcher Connor's name all the time.
So Negavin, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I need to get the pronunciation of that one of these days. But this should be a good game. Neither team is afraid to mix it up and have lots of rocks in play. So away we go.
Yeah, sure. And both teams sitting at 2-1. They got there a little bit differently. With the Kean team had a win and then a loss and then a win, and Reid won his first two and then lost to Park from Prague, Czechia in his third game. Just amazing how many teams we see from countries that are just really young in the world of curling. So we are 2-1. Yeah.
Yeah, just seeing that first shot. I mean, in our earlier afternoon game, we saw a lot of that. They've kind of touched the rocks a bit, and they've been really curling. And this afternoon we had a lot of shots that just didn't make it past the guard. They rubbed, and so this will be something to watch. But I'm pretty sure that both these teams played already this morning. Did they not?
Yeah, I would think they did. I can't swear to that because I didn't go back and look, but I know they both played 3 games. So, and I'm sure they didn't play 3 yesterday. So
no, they didn't. Yeah.
So it probably did play this morning. So they'd have a little bit of experience with it, and certainly it's a style of play that both teams are probably pretty familiar with, anyways. With this, so I expect to see a pretty good effort here. So
yes,
keep going here. So this would be the lead. By the way, the Kean team does have hammer. If you didn't figure that out while we were talking there, they won the draw to the button. They put it just biting the side of the button. Reid's was probably full 4 foot or close to full 4 foot, but not quite good enough. So, and a roll out there for Spencer Dunlop. And Carruthers will go right around. With all the rule changes over the years, the game certainly changed here, as you and I both know. And it's there's not a lot of curling drawn to the wings anymore. And doesn't matter where the guard is, doesn't matter if we have hammer or don't, we're going around it. So
no kidding.
Yeah.
But then again, they don't have any 2-1, 3-2 games like we did.
Yeah, that's true enough.
Or very few.
Yeah. Yeah. I know I played Governor General's one time, 10 games and lost to Shorty Jenkins 2-1. It was crazy. That doesn't happen too much. No. Great shot there for Samogolski. Same trouble. Been around. Derek's been around for a long time. Good player, always a good player. And no matter who he's played with, he's been really solid and makes a lot of shots.
Yeah, he played a long time with Mike McEwen.
Yeah. Yeah. A little close there for Matthew Garner. Just attempted the run back. It's one of those you get caught a little bit in between. Probably a little more curl there and roll 2 feet would have been a better result, but it's so close you go for it. And then you kick yourself maybe a little bit later.
Yeah. Yeah, Matthews, he's a lefty. He's a good thrower. I can remember we needed a spare, and the boys picked Matty up, and he threw it great, and he can throw the high heat with any of them.
Yeah. So that wasn't your Wednesday night team at the club that he picked?
No.
Figured after the stories you were just telling me that he'd be a good fill-in for that team. So,
yeah, it really would be.
Yeah. So Carruthers playing the come around once again. Samogolski. I don't know why that sounds so easy to say and so hard to say. So
I know.
It's a good shot. We're not supposed to struggle with those good old Canadian names. It's all the ones that we just from the other countries that are hard to figure out usually.
Yeah.
But there's a few. So attempted double here is definitely a possibility. It's the guard's high enough, and I think he's got enough room to sneak by there and make this double. Have to be a little bit tight.
Yeah, they could have played it over the top, but this is a much better shot call, I think. And look at that thing curl.
Yeah, did it ever? So not a perfect result, but not bad. Carruthers going to go right up and throw guard.
Yeah, Reid's never afraid to have too many rocks in play.
No. Galen Schneider skipped his own team for a few years.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say, and he did fairly well when he was out there. I think he might have played with Colton Flash and company, or the Marsh brothers.
Right. Yeah,
not sure, but he threw it very well and got some really great results. But that's not a great result.
No, won't be happy with that one. It was a little bit of strange looking delivery there when he came out. It was almost like he kind of was going a little left and had to kind of steer her back a little bit. And that's always a challenge unless you're a wily veteran. You've been doing it for 15 years. So,
like an Eddie Wernick?
yeah, he'd be one. Yeah. So we got a little out turn raise takeout here for third stone. Is Bradley Lumley.
I think is it Bradley or Brady? I can't. Brady? I think it's Brady. I think it is, but he's made it, so he can be Brady or Bradley.
Yeah. No, you're probably right. I think that. I don't have I need to look it up with right now, but so Carruthers going to play really the same shot. It's he'll try to get to the inside of this, Terry, and just make the double that way and flop a little behind the guard or around the guard or something like that.
Yeah, I
mean, maybe not.
always think about weight choice makes it easier to decide what they're really calling.
Yeah. Well, what we know from this is he's going to throw it hard. A little better run at it.
Get it the other way. Yep. I shouldn't say the other way. They may have played it that way.
Yeah, I think you might be right. They were sort of tapping both ways there, and we just don't hear them, so we're not 100% sure what the result was. But the result of the shot was very positive, so
Yes.
Good stuff for Schneider. They'll make up after his first one, so that's a good thing. So Brady Lumley, formerly Bradley Lumley.
That's good, yes.
So Brady will throw the intern here, the intern draw, and try to bury one somewhere. Set up the deuce. Gonna have to go really hard on this too.
Yeah. Looks light.
Yeah. Yeah, not a good result for Brady there. It's certainly gives Carruthers a chance to get one in there in a good position, perhaps pick up a steal here, but
yeah, he might be wishing you'd called him Bradley.
Yeah. We'll announce his name at the end of every shot.
Yeah. Oh, that was that Bradley.
yeah, it kind of rhymes with badly, so it goes with So Carruthers now will be throwing the intern come around, try to put this one in above the tee line, if at all possible, and fully buried would be a good result for Reid.
Yeah, he definitely wants to keep this above the tee line.
He's a great player. Plays anywhere in any position and always plays it well, and a great guy too, as you mentioned earlier.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, kudos to him. You know, his knee was giving him some problems. He went from the tuck delivery when he was playing with Jeff. I think maybe the last year he played with Jeff, he went to the flat foot. That must have been so difficult for him. But
yeah,
great shot there.
Yeah, great shot. Just about perfect position, really. Totally buried.
Yeah.
Mark Kean going to ignore that.
Yeah, he's going to come right around and try and better that.
Probably not a bad idea, really. At this point, it's if you don't make the double run back, you're going to be forced with probably having to take one anyway. So
yeah, it's you know, when the ice is curling like this, like it's funny to say that rock in the 8-foot is a guard.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
because Mark can come around and bury it, and it'll force Reid to play pretty much the same shot he did on his first one, if not even just block off the path to the button.
So Mark Kean out of Woodstock, Ontario. I used to know where Woodstock was when I lived in Ontario, but I don't really know anymore.
It's it's probably a half an hour east of London, or I mean we're a half an hour from Woodstock from where I am in Brantford, okay. Which is so we would be going, I guess, what would that be? Northwest of here.
Okay.
He's got the unfortunate throw of rubbing the guard, and it was great weight, but rubbing it out now, that gives Reid an opportunity to not only hit but roll and potentially really make it difficult for Mark to score one.
Yeah, you're right. That was pretty much perfect weight. Just they were sort of caught a little bit in between whether or not they could sweep it and still stay for shot rock if they got it by, and they just got a little bit caught on it, and it just didn't work for them. So,
and certainly Reid won't want to sit right there and leave Mark a pocket double. But um, I think ideally this is where you would like to throw less weight, play the role all day long. But with this extra little curl, I mean, they won't be anxious to, play this quieter weight. I don't. Oh, he is playing. This is just this is the a really experienced skip throwing this rock. I mean, um, you know,
Yeah,
we
you're
talk
dead
about
right though.
we
Yeah,
talk about making shots, but it's not just about making a shot; it's making the shot.
yeah,
Um, and so Reid's all in, I think, on playing this double. They're sweeping it hard to get it to curl, and wow, he pointed he needed a little extra ice. This thing's really going to have to curl, and we're going to have to get on the broom really hard. And Caitlin does so, or
yeah, Catlin, yeah.
Catlin, I guess I should say.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sorry.
that was a little strange, that one though. That I would have thought that would have curled up with that weight. He wasn't really heavy, and it took
Hmm.
its time for sure. Mark's going to go after this one, and we don't have a perfect view of it, but it doesn't look like he could see a whole lot of it. But he doesn't have to see very much. He's
I
just
was going
trying
to
to
say
pick
Mark would
one.
probably tell you I can see a lot of it.
Yeah, I think he'd be lying, but maybe he would. But I like the positivity. You got to believe that. I think when you're going to throw this one and you can only see an inch of it, you better believe it's a big inch.
That's right.
So
Yeah, because you don't want to rub that front yellow. I mean, on the risk of potentially bumping that green stone into the
yeah,
rings.
yeah, I know. It's like I say, we're just a little bit off center on the angle here, so he might be able to see a little more than we think he can see, or than I think he can see anyway.
Well, this looks pretty good.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, and nicely thrown.
Yeah, very well done.
So very nice shot from Kean to keep the hammer alive as we blank the first end here at the Henderson Metal Fall Classic.
All right, super.
Gripper first.
Don't forget your brooms.
Yep, we got it. Yellow.
Come on up.
Well, what do you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
The Rock.
We're back here. So, welcome back to end number 2 in our B Division game with Reid Carruthers and Kean. Blank end in the first end. Big game for these guys. I haven't really looked at what happens to the loser, but generally speaking, if you drop into the C Division, you're playing and playing and playing and playing to get to the playoffs. So, I suspect that's about where they're at. I think they can qualify with a couple more wins by staying in B, but a lot more games if you drop to that C side.
Yeah, you want to stay out of the rat race as long as you can.
Yeah. Very nice come around there for Spencer Dunlop.
Yeah, that's a good rock position there.
Connor Negevin will go on the intern side. It's going pretty hard now. I don't know if they're just trying to corner the top of the yellow. I suspect maybe that's where they're going. I wasn't sure if they were going right around or this is a little bit more like the shot we usually see in that situation. So,
Yeah, I think the call was to freeze on top of it.
yeah. Connor Negavan also doing some coaching this year with his wife's team.
Correct.
Oh, the out-turn draw for the lefty. Just said the last time we hardly ever see anybody go to the wings. I'm not sure if he was throwing a corner there, Terry, or if he was actually trying to get in.
Yeah, I mean, it was fun kind of watching and commentating on the Goose Shoot game just because, I mean, Brad kind of follows a template. It doesn't really deviate from it. He, wherever you put your first one, he's going around it.
Yeah.
Whereas, Sam Moybrook was content to, throw up the corner guard.
Yeah.
When he had last rock, to try and generate some action along the wings.
So Samagalski. I love rub that guard. And he'll just slide over on the corner a little bit. There's that curl we were just talking about. It's just sometimes hard to, when they start to go, it's hard to do much about it. I guess the trick is to kind of maybe go, I'm not sure, go a little bit early maybe, I guess, Terry, and hold it out there and then let it start to break and then finish it off at the end with the brooms. If you had to have a game plan, that's probably the way it goes.
Yeah, we were talking about that as well this morning with the extra curl. Like, I think you just have to get it in your mind that you're going to have to be positive with your throw.
Yeah.
Because it's probably, I mean, you say it's probably 2, maybe 3 feet heavier, but it is heavier just based on the running surface. And like I said, we saw a lot of guards that, just wicked the rock that they were coming around. And we saw a lot of draws that really were just light.
There's a great shot right there. Just
yeah,
nice
for sure. For sure.
Reid will try to do something with it here. He's got his own to work with there, so it's certainly lined up to make the double here. If it drags it all for him, if he gets 3/4 of that green one, he's probably going to get them all.
Yeah, the winner of this game gets kind of a semi-final berth in the B event. So
yeah,
you'd rather be there than slugging it out on the seaside.
Yeah. Wow, that was close to the guard, but a great shot by Derek.
Yeah, very good. Well thrown. Good sweeping calls.
Yeah, and got some curl. Even with that weight, you're still getting some curl. It's be interesting to see a stat sometime after they do the rocks as far as, and maybe not, these guys are all at a level that maybe is a little bit too high to figure that out, but where the number of misses that happen, how many happen on the low side versus how many happen on the high side. I'd say probably none ever happen on the high side. So certainly
I think you're right.
Yeah. A bit unfortunate there to end up more or less burying the Carruthers stone. So then not developing quite the way Mark Kean would like it to go right now, but there's a lot of rocks left. We're only halfway through the end, so we'll see what happens. Reid asking the boys what they like. And maybe you got an answer. I tried that last night. Nobody answered. Say, whatever you like. It's like, well, if I knew what I liked, I wouldn't have asked you.
That's right.
Yeah. So Catelyn Schneider, the new pickup for the Carruthers team this year. Playing third stone, delivering his first stone at the second end here.
Well, it must be curling. He's
Yeah.
dancing all over the place.
Yeah, curling a lot, judging by that 5-foot slide to the left there. It's anyway, whatever Catelyn did there, he did it well. So if there's a way to steer it, he steered it good. It's interesting, both teams sort of playing the opposite turns here. Mark Kean going to the out turn. Out turn for Brady Lumley. Might be a little light. The guys are on it hard right out of his hand.
The speed's held up really good throughout the entire games that I've done anyway.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look at this thing curl. Wow.
Yeah. But he's struggling a little bit early in the game with draw weight, but he's only thrown 3 rocks, so he'll get that figured out, I'm sure. Tough call for Reid here. What do you do here? Do you make a play on that yellow one, or do you just ignore that, come right around?
Well, I mean, it's certainly tempting to, play it really quiet and just through the rings, because you can probably get to nose of that by the time it comes around.
Yeah, I
know
think you're right.
Reid won't like it, in that position. We constantly talk about controlling the house, and when you're talking about rocks that are above the tee line and they're the opponent's rocks, they can be promoted very easily.
Yeah.
Looks like he's decided to take it on.
Yeah, no surprise here. It's a a little bit of a scary shot, but it's just one they got to make at this level if you're gonna win. So Connor's gonna try to make it curl though. It's got a long way to curl, but we've seen them go that far. Oh, great effort, great shot, and great sweeping. A little bit light, but still a good shot. I think he could have used a little more for sure, but
yeah, but then just that extra pound of weight that doesn't curl as much, and you end up leaving Mark's yellow rock shot. So I mean, I think that great call. I like the result. Mark's got the hammer, and he is sitting second shot.
Yeah, everything is going to be behind the tee line here, even after this shot, if he makes the hit. Although he's going to have to go really hard again, really close to that front guard. And on the front guard,
He's
I
on
think.
it. Yeah.
So Brady's struggles continue a little bit here, and he's certainly they've let Carruthers off the hook there. They had a chance to maybe put a little bit of heat on him.
Yeah, again, we're seeing a replication of this early afternoon game where they're just not throwing it positive. I think this is one of those times where curling is our feel touch is all like memory, and I'm a visual curler. I'm a visual person. When you see that ice that you're being given now, it's in your mind that, wow, that's a lot of ice, but, again, you have to play the ice conditions, and it is curling more, and your memory's telling you that it's, too much ice, and it's not. But
I think you're absolutely right. It's you got to, the seeing is believing thing. You've got to believe what you see, but I find as a skip, sometimes what you call a whole end doesn't look like it did when you were on the other end of the ice throwing it. But I think I can't possibly need that much ice. So here's a shot for Carruthers.
He's got
How
to
else he's
go
gonna
hard.
go pretty
Yeah, he's
hard.
not going to
Probably
stay.
gonna go- Yeah. One's going to roll out. Still sitting 3, though. There's nothing of any real serious danger for Mark Kean here at this point, but he'll have to make a shot here to develop, to have any chance at a 2. Yeah, it's funny how that goes. I know, I skipped most of my life, and then the times when I do play somewhere where the ice is like that, though, when they go to the other end, I just can't believe that I've been putting the broom there. And it's never a good thing because sometimes you still go ahead and throw it, but there's something
That's
in
right.
the back of the brain that doesn't let you really get out to that broom or really throw it out there positively. You just kind of get a little babyish with it, and all of a sudden you miss it on the low side by a foot. It's like,
I know.
yeah.
But, just going back to, what we were talking about earlier and why Reid kind of played the shot he did, regardless of where Mark leaves this shot, if he rolls too far to the broom side, he's not shot rock. If he rolls inside, Reid's got that control rock that he can, run back. So
Exactly. Yeah.
and this thing is starting to
Yeah.
go. Let's get it out there. As Reid can have a look at it, and I think Reid would be happy to even hit and roll out. Would be maybe not the preferred shot, but I mean, I think he's looking at this stage. I want to force, and we got the force. This rock just needs to go away.
Yeah, really smart move there for I don't know which player it was on the front end sweeping that, because and this is a good lesson for front end players to make sure you know where everything is, because the person in the house hasn't always got time to tell you, but that rock was going to the right, and he just he realized if he sweeps it over there and buries it, it's not going to be a good thing necessarily. So came off of it and just left it there, rather than he wouldn't have been shot if he was somewhere else, and then wouldn't have done him any good at all. So an out-turn hit for Carruthers. He'll throw a little weight on this. It's a big hole, but it's not so big if you baby it again. The same thing we were talking about. It might get away from you. So I think this will be fairly solid. Should be fine.
Yeah, looks good.
Yeah, that was a very nice throw. So Mark Kean forced with a decision here.
The out-turn draw is available for sure. I was just going to say, knowing Mark, having played with him a bit, I'm not surprised that he's elected the out-turn draw.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering that. To go the other way, he'd pretty much have to go in turn for the hit, and they haven't really thrown that one as much, and good chance to roll out, and all kinds of things could go wrong. So
Yep.
yeah, make this one, take your one, and move on to the next end.
Last shot at the end.
Yeah, facing 3. Doesn't matter how close they are. Sometimes 3's a lot, no matter where they are. So got to make this one. Sweeper's looking pretty confident about it. Needs to dig a little bit, I think. Maybe needs to dig a lot.
This is a really unforced error. That looks like a 2.
Yeah, let's see if they didn't really get a good look, but I should have looked at the overhead. So still for Carruthers here in the second end, and we're thinking 2, Terry. I didn't really see the end of that.
Yeah, I think it was definitely 2.
No, it sounds like it's still a 2, and we will take a short break and be back with you for the third end.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
Too much sun. I have to...
We're back for the third end here at the Henderson Meadow Fall Classic, presented by Kioti Tractors of Ontario. And the Kean team has some work to do now after giving up a steal of 2 in the second end. A little bit heavy on Mark's last draw, but that does happen sometimes, unfortunately.
And just taking a little browse around the rink, Joel Retornez is leading Matt Dunstone 1-0. Matt has the hammer in end 2. We have Mark. I'm again not very good with some of these names. Marco Hoselai. He's grabbed a 3-ender on Lucas Klima and is up 3-0. Our game has Carruthers up 2-0. We have no score between Magnus Rumsfeld and Scott Howard. We have Matthew Hunt from Sault Ste.Marie up 1-0 on Tyler Smith from PEI. And finally, we have Charlie Robert up 1-0 against Nathan Young.
Oh, thanks, Terry. We're all up to date. And if you're ever looking for the scores in between us updating you can find them all at curlingzone.com. And a lot of other additional information as well, draw times and competitors, team lists. You can find it all out at Curling Zone. Very pleased to make that available to you. So Mark Kean went with the corner guard, and Reid came around the center guard, and Kean's going around the corner guard. So 4 perfect shots so far in this end. Kean probably has to go pretty hard here. It's really early in the game, but you don't want to let it get away from you a little bit. So he certainly needs to keep that in mind here.
Yeah, Reid's actually going at this. It looks buried, but he's going with I think he called hack weight. Certainly, it's definitely makeable the way it curls.
Yeah, you can probably get right to the nose of it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow, look at that.
Look at that. Perfect weight.
Yeah. So the strategy there, if you're throwing up corner guards, I would say is just they've got to be really tight, I guess, Terry?
Yeah.
To have them be of any use at all. Yeah. Because that's a pretty nice looking corner guard there, and it wasn't even.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So now appeal goes up for Team Kean. That too, probably a pretty good idea at this point. It's not shaping up quite the way he needs right now, so he'll make it a little simpler. That does the trick a bit. A little unlucky with that second one, didn't go out, but it's not really a problem right now. So you mentioned that Joel Returnas and his game, and man, it's one of the most amazing stories in curling in the last 5 years, I think, is Team Italy. They're just they're amazing. Really nothing else to say about it. They just they didn't come out of nowhere. He'd been around a long time, but at the same time, to dominate the way they did for a couple of years was pretty impressive.
Yeah, and curling always needs that. That's why I'm kind of excited to see some of these younger teams out on the circuit, like Team King. Um, he's got a really nice squad with him. Um, Sam Moybrook. I mean, those I'm not 100% sure, but they may be the what we call the next generation,
Yeah.
where they get a little bit of funding to play a little bit more at uh, with a little less out of pocket expense. But
Yeah.
the hard part is keeping these teams together.
Yeah.
Because not only do you have to curl together, but when you're traveling as much as these guys are, um, yeah, you got to get along with each other, for the most part, off the ice as well. So,
Yeah. So Kean going hard on this one. He's got enough to get it out. No, but he moved it to not a bad spot, well behind the tee line, and shaping up more like he's going to have to go after this a little bit for sure, because there's too many green ones developing in the house there.
yeah, you start to think that blank ends aren't going to be in the equation, so we might as well go hard here.
Yeah. Catlin Schneider throwing the out-turn hit. Try to hit and flop a little bit behind the center guard would be real good. Both sweepers going off and on. This is going to be pretty good, I think.
Real good weight control. I really like that. I mean, I can tell you, just even as a skip, I was always trying to take the margin of error out, and I was a firm believer that the harder you threw it, the less broom you had to give, and as long as you were somewhere close, you didn't have to worry about a miss. But as you get older, and I dare say wiser, you realize that this is really the way to move rocks around the house.
Yeah. And you got to see that again there, and you can really see how the both sweepers are engaged, and just a perfect weight and ice matchup, which is so important. Some really nice shots being made in this end.
Mm-hmm.
He's still number 3 with that, though, so it's gonna need a little help getting it promoted up there somewhere. This will be an interesting call for Reid. I wouldn't be surprised to see him guard something up here. Sitting 2.
Yeah.
Well, you got to go right in. Okay.
Yeah, let's use that rock at the top of the 8-foot as a guard.
Yeah.
The only danger with this is, you potentially don't get it buried, and you leave a double, and then Mark potentially sits 2.
Yeah. So Catlin Schneider out turn, draw.
This is one of those ones that's it's way out there.
Yeah, Derek's trying to get it behind that rock. Yeah. Not a good result for the Carruthers team on that shot. I don't think it's
no.
Certainly an opportunity for Kean to come right down to that, and he's looking at backline weight, so he's looking to move it a little bit. Problem with drawing right to it, probably even the same problem as bumping it, but he's looking at 3 here. He needs to do something, and is if you're still going to be behind the tee line, and Reid will probably have a chance to do something with this one. But for now, let's see what Tyler can do here the Brady can do here with the little
looks good.
tap.
Yep, looks good.
Yeah, very nicely done, and a perfect roll too. Yeah, it's just one shot changes things dramatically, doesn't it? I mean, Catalan's shot, if he makes it good, the Carruthers team has Kean in serious trouble, and instead just goes a little heavy, and now they have a problem. So
Yeah, even though there's 4 potential counters in the house for Carruthers, um, the positioning of Kean's rocks are pretty good.
yeah,
All Reeds are behind the tee line for the most part,
yeah,
except that one way over on the 12. But he's chosen to try and nose this, and which I think ultimately is kind of the best outcome that he could hope for.
yeah, just reverse the freeze kind of thing.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Reed seems to have a pretty good handle on the weight and ice matchup, so I expect this to be pretty good. Although Connor has been hammering it all the way down the sheet, so we'll see how he gets
I
along.
think this is on
Oh,
the yellow. Yeah.
is it ever?
Wow.
That's a massive break for Kean and a very bad break for the Carruthers team, and an end that they looked to be dominating just 2 shots ago.
Yeah, and the wild thing about that is like that wasn't even close,
No,
really. I
no.
mean, you expect Reed to be in the ballpark. That kind of left the stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. That was, yeah. I don't even know 100%. The weight he had on that was only about probably back 12 at most, somewhere around
Yeah.
there. And I don't know if he was planning on throwing it quite that light.
No, and I don't think he was. I mean, his saving grace is he's got that rock that he can promote.
Yeah.
Uh,
So I think Mark Kean is going to try to take that away a little bit. I think he's going to come around on the intern, try to get to probably about the MS on the programs, and take that raise away. But he's going to leave. Reed's Carruthers going to have a bit of an out here somewhere. You can't block everything from him, but if you can put this in the right spot, you're certainly going to be sitting pretty good.
yeah, I'm sure Mark right now is liking kind of the setup that he's got.
Oh, you'd have to be important to put this one in the right place, though. You don't want to slide this to the back of the button or something like that, and give Carruthers something
Give
more to work
Carruthers
with.
an out. Yeah.
Yeah.
There it goes.
Yeah, it's just,
This looks light, isn't it?
yeah, I don't know. No, I think they're going to be
Oh, wow.
fair.
Yeah. That, I don't
Well,
think it got in for third
I don't
shot.
think it did either. It's going to be an interesting shot selection here for Carruthers. He has the tap because Kean's
Yeah.
rock had to just get by that. If it sneaks by that green one just a
Yeah.
little bit more, it takes that shot away. But I don't know.
Well, as you say, he's got options. He can tap the green. He can play the same shot Mark just played.
Yeah.
I suppose if he wanted to and give up 2, he could probably nose the wide open one on the right-hand side as we
Yeah.
look at it now. Knowing Reed, I guess I'm going to say he probably plays the tap.
Tap on the green. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Got to be perfect if you play the tap, that's for sure. Because if you tap a little bit on the outside, you might move that yellow one in to be another counter.
Yeah, but I think the good thing about it is, I mean, I think you can be like a little heavy because you can
Yeah,
rub off the yellow one, and it should just come if you're just kind of
just
um,
feather it. Yeah,
feather it. It's coming back onto the yellow.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by this call at all.
No. So with Carruthers facing 2 Marquine stones in the house, it's going to play a little raised tap, trying to get this in for number 1. And then, as you say, Terry, he's got a couple options. He could be a little tiny bit heavy and bump it right back onto the yellow, and that would be fine. A slight rub off the top one he might get away with. And if he happens to be a little bit heavier than that, then fine. And if he's a little bit lighter than that, as long as they can hold it, he can just get the straight bump into the top of the forefoot, which wouldn't be bad either. I don't think, unless the yellow one's accessible. We'll see what he does.
Yeah, I mean, if he does hit it too thin, he could promote that yellow rock, which would leave Mark sitting 3 probably.
Judging by Connor sweeping, he's not going to hit it thin.
Yeah, no, they're saying it's down, so this looks pretty good. Oh, didn't have enough oomph on it.
No, they were right on the weight call. That's for sure. Definitely lighter than he wanted to be. I'm sure by a fair bit. Really, to be honest, I think he's probably would like to have had 4 or 5 more feet on that. To be honest, without maybe even 5 or 6 feet would have been fine.
Yeah. Does Mark have a shot for 4 here? I guess not really.
No,
you would have to.
I don't know how he'd pull that off. It's I don't see anything that would be worth trying it anyways. So I think the draw for 3 is looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, I guess he'd have to probably throw too much weight to try and chip that yellow one of his that he threw on his first one and get the roll, because it's going to have to spin towards the forefoot.
Yeah, definitely there. Certainly there, and even with whatever weight back, even maybe back 8, back 12, somewhere around there. But I just think it's difficult enough that it's not worth giving up what should be the easy, for lack of a better term, draw here to the house.
Yeah, anytime you're drawn for 3, you got to be happy.
Yeah, I just think he might need a little more ice than he's got there, but still, that's that's okay. He's probably okay if he comes to his own. Well, he's adding a little bit.
No, he's taking less. So there'll be a lot of rotation on this rock. Mark throws that in term with a lot of rotation. But you never know. Maybe he is playing that.
Yeah, moving that broom in makes me think he's certainly still thinking about it.
As long as the vice knows what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And there's the rotation you talked about. Certainly lots of pro.
You know what? He is playing this.
Well, he better have enough weight to at least get the 3rd one.
Yeah, he does.
Okay. That's a good shot.
Yeah.
Anyway, tough 4. So great shot for Kean. Good. Nice end by the Kean team at the end of it. It certainly came to them that end, and they pick up a 3 and take a 3-2 lead against Carruthers here after 4 ends of play.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Excuse me. So just before we get going with this end, we'll correct ourselves. It was actually only 3 ends. We've only played 3 ends so far. So we are now going to the 4th end of this game between Mark Kean and Reid Carruthers, and a 3-2 lead for the Kean team. As we go to end number 4, Jim Nix joined by Terry Corbin, and pleased to be bringing you this game from the your neighborhood credit union in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Should say credit union curling center, not just credit union. That's obvious. So Reid won't be happy with that end. That end wasn't looking that bad for a while, and just kind of turned around and ended up with a 3 kind of coming out of nowhere, it seemed. And he'll probably be pretty anxious to get going here and score a couple of points. First time he's had hammer in this game. Spencer Dunlop threw up the center guard. Nice center guard, biting the center line, so it wasn't able to be moved. Not that Carruthers was going to try to move it, but it wasn't able to be moved for sure, and they are now trying to go around it. Looks like he's going to be a little bit on the light side. And maybe bites the top of the 12-foot. Yeah.
Yeah, Reid was, just a pound short on his last one that enabled Mark to have that drop for 3. But it only takes a pound light or a pound heavy to change the outcome.
Yeah, for sure. It's can be a tough game sometimes with that. You can feel like, well, geez, I was all around it. Just couldn't quite find it. This shot's not working out so good either. Oh, interesting decision there. It's one of those that I don't know. I think with that rule, with that tick rule, you don't have a choice, if I'm not mistaken. I think everything has to go back the way it was. Is that
correct?
Yeah. So in that sense, I guess stopping that is not really that big a deal, because it's not like the person gets to decide, no, I'm going to leave it because mine went into the 12-foot or something. So, okay. So that's what happened there. If anybody's wondering why he stopped that rock, I think it just, it was obvious it was going to move the rock off the center line. So everything was going to have to go back. So rather than try to figure out where it was, they just said, well, let's stop it and go on. It's usually kind of one of those things that some of the competitive teams will do that maybe you won't want to try in your own home club, because it might not come out with the same nice result. So an intern come around for Team Kean, trying to come around their own 2 yellows that are at the top of the one biting and one just short of the house. This one's going to hit the front guard, and it will now be 3 rocks at the top of the house. But
is that why I see a lot of helmets on the ice these days? Is for the bites that occur at your club?
Yeah. That might be why. That, or because all the stick curlers are starting to swing the sticks around a little bit. So Reid decides it's just a little too crowded now at the front of the house, and he's going to try to move a couple. And good shot by Samogalski there. And it's I'm sure he wants to get aggressive, but sometimes when you're sitting with the opposition with 3 rocks all guarding the center line, you don't want to be foolish either. So Mark Kean now looking at, have a definite preference to the outturn this team, or the intern for this guy, but
yeah.
Second stone, Matthew Garner.
His intern may curl a little bit more than those outturns from the right-hander.
Yeah. Sweeper switch there, so they're still looking at trying to get it to curl a little bit more, maybe. Very nicely done.
Yeah, good shot. Good weight,
Matthew.
Matt.
Yeah. Carruthers will ask Samogalski to keep going with the cleanup job here and hopefully make another double and get rid of all the yellows and leave himself with a couple of corners, and things will look a little better. Throwing the intern this time. I guess he maybe did the last time, but I would imagine trying to get across the top of it, but Not going to quite get there, but he makes the double anyway. So good shot for Derek. Pretty much cleaned up all the yellows, so I don't think you could ask much more of him. Kean will come around it again.
Yeah, at least for Reid, I mean, at least Mark's coming around his rocks as opposed to Mark's rocks.
Yeah, exactly. That's keeps all those run backs alive and all that kind of stuff. So definitely a better situation for Carruthers than he had a minute ago. So, and all those other rocks were all staggered in weird ways too. So it might have been really tough to run anything back. He can get at all of these ones. So the outturn come around. This one's going to have to curl, Terry.
And it will.
Yeah. And you're right. Curled about 6 feet in the last 12 feet. Sounds like the slope of a roof or something, but anyway, that's about what it's like, really, to be honest. Just coming off the side of a roof. So run back now for Catlin Schneider. We would like this to stick around somewhere after it hits, but at least make everything go away. Negative on the broom. Not going to quite get there, I don't think. Just needed to come up a hair more. So Kean be interesting here where Mark decides to go. It goes short.
Yeah, he wants to be short and take away that run back.
Yeah.
At the same time.
Brady Lumley, third stone for Kean. The outturn. This is all about position on this one. As Terry said, you'd like to be able to take the run back away as well as make the guard. So it's it just takes a real precise result. Not going to quite take the run back, but it's probably still okay because Carruthers still going to probably move that, I would imagine.
It's decision time for Reid. Yeah, I mean, you're either running the double or you're going to run that back. The obviously third option would be kind of corner freeze on that.
Yeah. Looks like that might be what they're going to play. Oh, well, maybe not quite the freeze. They're looking at sort of the back eight. Yeah. Well, as we've been saying all night, that most of these guards, unless they're in the 12-foot, you can get around them right to the rock. So you may not think it when you're sitting in the hack, but you just got to believe it. It's a big shot, though, here. Catlin never throws this one a little heavy or through the port or something, then Carruthers could be in big trouble. It's that outturn. He just sort of throws that a little bit different.
I'd say this has to curl a lot. There it goes.
Yeah.
Well, it's going to have to keep going, yeah. That's just a pound of flesh too much.
Yeah, and a wrong side miss too. It's we don't usually talk about it at this level when you talk about pro side and all that kind of stuff. That was just that's the wrong way to miss that shot. If you're going to miss it, assuming you're going to be close, if you're going to miss it a foot short or 2 feet short, it's going to be a lot better than there. Well, Mark now is probably coming right around, right on top of it, I would imagine, or very close.
I would think so, yeah. I mean, Reid still has that run back as well, and I think Mark needs to be conscious of that.
Yeah. Yeah, things you have to think about in today's game, for sure. You got to put this in. You got to put it somewhere where he can't make the angle raise run back double. It's it too. Like it's like, well, we don't mind if he plays it as long as he leaves us one in there. But if you put it in the wrong place, it would be a definite possibility. Would you generally figure that this part of the game would be Mark's forte, or is this, or Or is he pretty much well-rounded, plays everything?
He plays everything. I mean, I think of Mark as a touch player.
Yeah. So the front end working pretty hard on this one. Can't really see it very well, but I'm going to bet it's going to curl. Well, I think he'll be happy with that. He might have went a little bit further. He might have liked to be maybe a foot shorter and 3 more inches of curl or something like that, but that's pretty good. I think pretty tough double for on the greens. If he plays the green, it's going to be hard to get both yellows. A little bit hard. Anyway.
Yeah.
The overhead always sometimes I got to look at that because I don't look at that sometimes and I say that and then say, well, maybe not so not so hard once I look at it from a different angle.
I know. Well, and I think personally, Reid has to play this draw because if he plays the run back and doesn't make it, I mean, what's he going to have left for a second shot?
Yeah. So it looks like, judging by where he put the broom, he's going to throw one of those, sort of that same weight that Catlin just threw, or somewhere around that. Maybe make contact with the top yellow and maybe get rid of the bottom yellow, or at least get it back to the 12-foot.
This is, I mean, again, just when you look at it, this shot does not look there to the eye. And, it's again, one of those shots that you're just going to, you got to believe that, you can hold it out there if you have to. And look at Connor going because this thing's busting hard. But they're looking at a roll.
Wow.
And he's not even close.
No. He's had a couple of those in this game that just really out of his hand almost didn't seem to have much of a chance, but not like him. That's not a good result, obviously, for Carruthers. It's left Kean with 2 in the house guarded and some green, little double green run back kind of is an option, but that's not easy. It'll be interesting to see where Mark goes on this. What are you thinking, Terry?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking you got to get one inside in that hole there somewhere. I don't see much of a shot for Reid other than the tap on the greens.
Yeah.
And it's a straight tap almost to the button by the looks of it. But I really think you got to take that hole away and not let Reid play a similar shot with just maybe a little bit more ice.
Yeah.
Where he could chip and roll off of the yellow in for shot. So
yeah.
If it's me, I'm taking away that hole.
Yeah. Yeah, not a bad plan. I think it's the double raise to the button is pretty hard.
Yeah,
These guys don't make them sometimes, but it's not like I don't think it lines up to even give him any backing. So I think it has to be perfect. We're not going to have a rock to come up against or anything. So,
well, I think Mark just needs to, say to himself quickly, like, okay, if I don't throw this, what does he play?
Yeah.
And I think the only shot he can play, logically is, the shot that he just missed. So why not take that away? You don't like to give good curlers or good athletes a chance to make a shot that they just missed.
Yeah. That was a good way to describe it too sometimes, because I think, especially when fairly new curlers, this one's got to curl a little bit. He definitely took the hole away.
Yeah.
Yeah, what I was going to say, sometimes new curlers, you end up throwing that shot and you make it more possible, not necessarily easy, but more possible for the other team to score than they would have had if you didn't throw it. And
exactly.
Yeah, so you got to be careful with that, And the other thing, sometimes you force somebody to play a shot that they don't really want to play, but it's the only shot they got. And they're a little easier to commit to it when you don't have anything else in your head, but, well, that's all I got, so I got to play it.
Yeah, because I'm looking, unfortunately, my screen has got Oh, there. No, it's still there. Where I can't get rid of the um, icons there, but
No, I hear you.
yeah, it's right at the bottom of my screen. But I mean, I think Reid could get there playing the intern, um, but I don't think he can ever get shot.
Yeah. Would you ever, if you're Carruthers, would you ever just throw a firm rock, pick that yellow off the back, the second one, and just spill it out and give up the one?
I'd certainly be thinking about how I can reduce the damage.
Yeah.
I'm gonna guess, he's probably worried about it coming back on that green if he
Yeah.
hit too much. But I mean, again, you're already looking at two. If it happens to do that, then you're still giving up two.
Looks like they're planning on just going ahead and biting the bullet and giving up the one. I think that's what that looked like when Catlin called it.
Yep.
You might be able to come in. You possibly might be able to hit. I don't know what, half an inch or something of that top yellow one, and get them both that way. Like hit it really thin, but hard enough to get rid of both. That's possible too, I think.
Well, it would have to be one heck of a bullet.
Oh yeah. Got to get by that top one though.
Wow. Oh no!
Holy cow!
Talk about the worst possible outcome.
Yeah, very disastrous shot for Reid Carruthers, and a disastrous end for Carruthers as well, as he gives up a steal of 3 to Mark Kean and trails 6-2 after 4 ends of play here at the I could lose that again. The Henderson Meadow Fall Classic, presented by Kioti Tractors of Ontario. And we'll be back after the break.
On behalf of the volunteer board, the support team, and all the families who will be helped by this year's Sandra Schmirler Foundation Telethon, thank you for being a part of this historic moment. $1,126,014, a new record, exceeding our goal, and most importantly, countless families from St. John's to Victoria to Yellowknife and babies in over 100 hospitals in between will be impacted by your generosity. And we couldn't do it without the amazing partnerships we have with Curling Canada, TSN, and Net2Phone Canada. They connect you, our generous supporters, with so many of the Scotties participants and our volunteers on Telethon Day. A special thank you to Jocelyn and Brett for sharing little Luke Gallant's stories, and all of the families across this great country who shared stories of how Sandra's legacy has helped their little ones grow up and become champions. In each of the last 3 years, because of generous supporters like you, the Sandra Schmirler Foundation has been able to give back $1 million to help babies in every province and territory. And this year's telethon will ensure we can continue that incredible momentum. Thank you for helping champions start small.
Thank you, Canada!
What I do now. We are back for the 5th end of this B Division game between Reid Carruthers and Mark Kean. Game has certainly turned around here in the last couple of ends, with a couple of 3-enders for the Kean team, the most recent being a steal of 3 in the 4th end to really make it tough on Reid Carruthers. Reid's going to have to go pretty hard, and quite frankly, going to have to pick up their game significantly to be able to get back in this one. But certainly a veteran and somebody that knows how to play the game and how to manufacture points. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him crawl back in this one, Terry.
Yeah, I'm not counting Reid Carruthers out, that's for sure. He has not brought his A game in the first 4 ends, but that's why they give you an opportunity to play 8. You can still bring it.
Yeah, absolutely. And after giving up a 5-ender in my second end of the season last night, and having to come all the way back from that to manage victory, which doesn't happen very often, but I actually know how you do this.
Well, you might want to put a little plug in Reid's ear just to let him know it's possible
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. The only difference is that the team that we were playing against, maybe not quite as good as these guys, but I
No.
mean, no, to 28 or 30% probably I can get by those guys that play 30%. But anyway, so here we go. So Kean's got his 2 rocks in the house, pretty much exactly where he would want them to be. I think the Kean team overall has played quite solidly in this game, Terry. The positioning of rocks in the last few ends, particularly, has been very, very good.
Yeah, and as a skip, you start to think like, who's had the more difficult shots, through
Yeah,
4 ends? Well, definitely Reid has
yeah,
had the more difficult shots, um, which might also account for why he hasn't made them.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, just the weight. I mean, I saw the call on his first one. I didn't like that, but
yeah,
I thought he would have been better off just playing the straight draw corner freeze. Um, but I mean that was his decision, and he could have made that, that's for sure, because
yeah,
it was there. But the second one, gee whiz, that wasn't even close again.
yeah,
And you wonder, like, is that just uh, you know is it was that underthrown, or is that just not taking enough ice? I mean, Reid's a master at reading ice, so I find it hard to believe that it's
yeah.
the
Yeah.
latter. But I mean, again, who knows?
So this is going to be an interesting game. I mean, generally speaking, with 6-2 lead, you really don't like to have too many rocks
Hmm.
around.
I'm getting
So
rid of a corner. Yeah,
yeah,
there you go.
yeah. Mark's going to get rid of the corner and roll right into that line of rocks there, which should be very interesting.
Hmm.
So, but first plan here, get rid of that corner guard and then just see what happens with the rest of it. I think so.
Yeah, I think with markets, one shot at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself. Um, some people may choose not to play this because, I mean, at the end of the day, um, Carruthers can use those stones in the house on the center line as guards. But
Yeah,
you know, I'd I like just removing the corner guard. I think
yeah,
uh, that's part of playing, smart, not so much really defensively, because Crothers has got some work to do here. Uh, yeah, this is more like it. I thought he was just playing it way too quiet here. Um, I think if he can hit this right, he can get all of them going in the house.
yeah. Derek Samagalski.
No, he's not throwing a whole lot of weight.
I think he's maybe trying to save that middle green one. They're the only green one that's there right now. So you might be thinking if he can hit it in the right place, that's not going to do it.
Hmm.
Not a terribly successful result, but his problem is here he's going to have to make a couple of shots just to get to the one in the 4 foot, and I think Kean's
Hmm.
coming right around.
For sure he is. I mean, you might as well, play with the game that got you where you are.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense, I guess, is the
Hmm.
idea. Yeah. So it's interesting, you say that, and it's how many curling games do you see when the team gets a little bit of
Right.
a lead and all of a sudden they switch up the game plan a little bit? And you're like, how do you manage to give up all those points when you only give up like 2 points in 4 ends? Now you give up like 5 in the last 3 ends. And just because you're
Hmm.
trying to defend a lead, sometimes it gets a bit weird.
Yeah.
Well, that was quite short.
Yeah, and I don't mean to harp on this, but again, um, with them touching up the rocks a bit, uh, they're certainly curling a little bit more. And I've seen a lot of the curlers today come up light.
Yeah. it's a good time to really work on communication too, and make sure everybody, keeps everybody in the game that way, and remind
Hmm.
guys like you got to throw it a little bit, guys. Like you can't, we can help you out, but we can't take it. If you don't give us something to work with.
Like here's another one.
This one, yeah.
Like I say, this just does not seem like, you know, Team Carruthers and just to be fair, I mean, Mark's team's had a couple of rocks that have kind of come up quite short.
Yeah.
Brady's going to get a second chance at making this one.
Brady Lumley had a couple early misses that weren't great, but then picked his game up quite a bit in the last little bit. So,
No, that was Bradley that was throwing those rocks.
oh yes, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. Well, anybody would have one kid named Bradley and Brady. Doesn't make any sense to me, but that is a good-looking shot.
Yeah,
That's a good effort.
yeah, that's much better.
Unfortunately, Reid's probably got to take. Yeah, he's probably going to have to play a shot like this before he'd like to play it, but because he needs to get something in there desperately.
Yeah, he's the way it curls, he needs to have access to more ice.
Yeah. Interesting he's playing this rock, Terry, and not the other one. The other one is certainly makeable as well, and seems like it would be a little bit easier to call, but Callan Schneider. Expect this one to be pretty close, judging by the sweeping.
It is.
You're going to go through the hole?
Oh, right through the hole.
Oh, that's just bad luck. You know it's going to be a bad day when you throw one like that and it looks good all the way, and then I was like, oh, man.
Yeah, Catlin even has to have a small chuckle.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he thought it was really, really close, and still got the one green.
We all did.
yeah, I know. Yeah, he's only got one green one left there to work with, and it's
yeah, Mark's just going to take that away now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Take it away on the high side.
I tell you, it's going to be tough for Carruthers to score here. Never mind score a couple.
Oh, ain't that the truth? As they say, I'm glad I'm yellow.
Yeah. You're having a good day when you're up 6-2 and you're throwing a guard on the only rock that's even in play here of the other teams in the in the fifth end. He doesn't want to get this too tight to the other green. When the closer he is, the easier he makes it, I think, unless the line is really good.
Yeah, that's
pretty good.
This is good, yeah.
Yeah. Probably still going to see Carruthers quite possibly play it. You still might end up playing the yellow on the green, but because I just don't know what else he can do.
The wide out turn.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, you can probably I say that, and then you realize that we just haven't been out here this far. But
yeah,
if he gets the right weight here, he could easily end up in the 4-foot. He could end up fully in the 4-foot.
Oh yeah.
But it's going to be really hard to know the weight out here, I think so.
Yeah, the ice has been running pretty good, even later in the ends, but there might be a little frost buildup too by now. He looked like he was, fairly positive with that on release, but at the same time, like Connor's right down on it. This looks like it's got a long way to go. I got 14-4 and on this, but as they say, it's close but no cigar.
Yeah, I got the exact same. Kind of funny. We both timed that one, but that geez, I don't know. They swept that, but they didn't go real hard on that. But they probably thought it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
Nice looking line and everything on that shot, but doesn't do any good there where it is.
Yeah, second shot at this stage of the game. Well, it's second shot. That's about all you can say about it.
Yeah. So now you're just trying to figure out what is he possibly going to play. I guess, I don't know. I guess to score 1 point, he does have the possibility of running the high green one on the yellow I suppose that's a definite possibility for one.
Yeah, for one.
But I don't know. Would he even take that on, or would he play the yellow on the green, which is very difficult?
He might try and play that in, or for him, yeah, the intern draw.
Yeah.
That still might be available given the finish.
Yeah.
I mean, anybody that's kind of curled with me will tell you guards are not my specialty.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be saying to my guys, if I don't throw this, what does he throw? They'd
Yeah.
tell me, it doesn't matter because you're not throwing yours anyway. We'll just go walk that thing down to the hack.
Yeah.
You just stay down here.
Yeah.
Enjoy the scenery.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it looks like he's trying to throw a guard kind of in the same area through the first one, I think. He's trying to take something away over here, and I don't know exactly what the something is, but I have to believe it's maybe the long double raise of some sort, since every one's a double raise.
Yeah.
The thing about it, he wasn't going to throw it heavy.
You wouldn't think.
No.
Because disturbing anything, I think, would be disaster. Well, that's the only way you can help Reid.
He's even going to bump it, take an extra half an inch. No, quarter of an inch. Reid's got to be having a hard time getting excited about this shot.
Oh, I know. The intern draw, I think, is probably all he's got. I don't know if you can hold it out there that long.
Yeah. You're going to have to give it a pretty good spin out of your hand, I think, to get it to stay there.
And I think that's his problem with the outturn is that once it goes, I mean, you're never getting by that top green, I don't think.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're throwing this, Reid.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, Callan, the rules still allow you about another 6 inches before you're off the tee, so I might get it out there a little bit further yet.
Probably going to have to throw every bit of the weight he threw on his first one.
Yeah.
In out at it to give it a little less, or I guess, yeah, less time to curl. And there it goes. This is actually going to be really close.
Yeah.
Oh, and it just doesn't get there. That was great weight.
Man, that was a heck of a try by Reid Carruthers. It just, you've got to assume it's going to keep going, and Marquis will steal one, and Carruthers will call it a day and try to work his way through the C division starting probably tomorrow. I don't think they play again today, but final results, Terry, 7-2 for Mark Kean. I think they very worthy of the win in this one.
Yeah, well deserved. And just before we, head out, it might as well tell our viewers that Tyler Smith leads Matthew Hunt 4-2, playing 6. Charlie Robert and Nathan Young are playing, and Charlie Robert is up 3-2, and Charlie Robert has the hammer. The Rumsfeld Howard game is tied at 3-3 with Scott Howard having the hammer. And our game that is an A event qualifier, Joel Retornaz, is up 4-1 against Matt Dunstone. Matt has the hammer. And the game that's kind of a little bit of a lopsided affair is Marco Hoselai from Switzerland that has a 5-0 lead over Lucas Klima.
Okay, well, thanks, Terry, and
thank you.
Yeah, thank everybody for taking this one in, and congratulate Mark Kean on moving on through B division to the semifinals. And we will say goodnight for now. We do remind you too that you can check all the curling scores on Curling Scores, or the scores of this spiel, on curlingscores.com. We will also have one more draw today at 7:30 Eastern time. I invite you to join us, and this will be Jim Nix signing off for Terry Corbin from the Henderson Metal Fall Classic, presented by Kioti Tractors of Ontario here at Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. And we will see you again next time.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life, when I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Everything I've worked for, everything I've sacrificed, has led to this. It's out of your hands now. All the gold medals in the world can't help you now. You could throw the perfect rock and still miss, but it just takes one. You leave it all out there on the ice to leave behind a legacy.